A grand welcome to Out and Studies Online. In this session, we are going to discuss about root locus. This session is especially for GATE aspirants. We will discuss the approximate shape of root locus without doing all the procedures. We have some 8 to 10 procedures for constructing root locus. For a GATE aspirant, it is not always possible to follow all the steps so as to get the exact shape of root locus. So we are going to discuss how will we get an approximate shape closely approaches the exact shape. Root locus techniques is a time domain analysis or transient response analysis. The time domain specification or transient response will entirely depend on the location of closed loop poles. Suppose we change any parameter, for example gain of the system or open loop gain. What happens to closed loop poles? The location of closed loop poles in S-plane will also vary. If you are varying k from 0 to infinity, then the closed loop poles will move in a particular path in S-plane, or it will trace some locus in S-plane. And we know that for a system to be stable, all the poles should lie on the LHS of the S-plane. Then the system is absolutely stable. If a pair of complex conjugate poles lying on imaginary axis, then the system is marginally stable. If more than one pair of poles is lying on imaginary axis, what happens? The system becomes unstable. And if poles are lying on the RHS of the S-plane, then the system is unstable. So if you are increasing the value of gain from 0 to infinity for some value of the gain k, the root locus or the position of the closed loop poles will become in RHS and system become unstable. So we can determine the value of k for which the system become unstable, and we can also determine the value of frequency for sustained oscillation. Sustained oscillation is due to the presence of a single pair of poles on imaginary axis, and we can find that frequency also. And the time domain specifications such as settling time, peak time, rise time, maximum overshoot, everything will depend on the position of closed loop poles. So we should have a good concept about how the roots of the closed loop system will move in S-plane when we are changing the value of gain from 0 to infinity. Okay, for constructing root locus, we should know the position of open loop zeros and open loop poles. In general, we can write open loop transfer function g of s multiplied by h of s, that is equal to gain k multiplied by the zeros s plus z1, s plus z2, and goes on. That is divided by poles, that is s plus p1, s plus p2, and so on. The zeros and poles may be complex conjugate pairs. If a plus ib pole or a zero, then a minus ib will also a pole or a zero. Since a single complex pole does not exist, it always exists in pairs. Or zeros and poles may be real or may be lying at origin. So suppose we have only one pole. Then what is the shape of root locus? Suppose we have a pair of poles 1 and 2 that is lying on the real axis. Then what is the shape of root locus? We want to find the shape of root locus without performing the complete procedure. Suppose I have a pair of poles like this. Then what is the shape of root locus? Suppose we have 3 poles. Then what is the shape? Or let this may be the pole 0 configuration. 2 poles here on real axis and 1 0. Or 2 poles and 2 zeros. Okay. Or we have 3 poles like this, 1, 2, 3, and 0 at origin. Then what is the shape of root locus? Or we have 4 poles like this, 1, 2, and a complex conjugate pole. Then what is the shape of root locus? Suppose we have a pole 0 configuration like this. A pair of complex conjugate pole here and another pair of complex conjugate pole here. Then what is the shape of root locus? Or Suppose this may be our pole 0 configuration and a 0 here. Then what is the shape? We can draw the approximate shape of root locus for all this configuration or for any configuration without actually doing all the procedure that we will discuss in this session. For that purpose, we want to know two concepts: how to find the location on real axis and to find the angle of asymptotes. Okay, now suppose I have pole 0 configuration like this. One pole here, a 0 here, another pole here, a 0 at origin, a pair of complex conjugate poles and a pair of complex conjugate 0. How will we check which portion of real axis lying on the root locus? Finding the location of root locus on real axis, there is no contribution from complex conjugate poles and from complex conjugate 0. So finding the location on real axis, we can neglect complex conjugate poles and zeros. So the contribution is entirely from the poles and zeros lying on the real axis. That is real poles and real zeros. Now I want to check this portion of the real axis is whether lying on the root locus. For that purpose, what I have to do, I take a test point towards the right side of this pole and count the total number of poles and zeros. I am taking a test point here. So towards the right of these poles, we have only 1 0. That is an odd number. So this portion is on root locus. Consider a point here towards the right of this pole and count the number of poles and zeros. So 1 pole and 1 0. So total 2. Total number of poles and zeros is 1 plus 1, 2. That is an even number. So this portion does not lies on root locus. So this portion between these two poles are not on the root locus. Now consider a point in between this 0 and this pole. So let this be the test point and count the number of poles and zeros. We have 2 poles and 1 0. So 2 plus 1. So total number of poles and zeros is 3. That is an odd number. So this portion of the real axis lies on the root locus. Now take a test point here. Then count the poles and zeros towards the right of this point. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That is an even number. So this portion is not on root locus. Now consider a test point here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So sum of poles and zeros is an odd number. So this portion of the real axis lies on the root locus. So to check which portion of root locus lies on the real axis, we take a test point and count the total number of poles and zeros. If it is an odd number, then that portion of real axis lies on the root locus. So this portion is on root locus, this portion is on root locus, and this portion is also on root locus. What about positive real axis? For that purpose, I take a test point here. So the number of poles and zeros after this point is 0. So this portion of real axis is not lying on the root locus. So the location of root locus on real axis can be found by taking a test point and count the number of poles and zeros towards the right side of that point. If it is an odd number, then that section of real axis is on the root locus. That is a very important concept to construct the approximate shape of root locus. Next is we want to know how to find the asymptotic angle. Now we want to find the angle of asymptote so as to draw the approximate shape of root locus. Root locus will trace along the asymptotic line. The asymptotes will always passing through centroid, and we can find the angle of asymptote theta k, that is equal to 180 divided by n minus m, this multiplied by 2k plus 1, where n is the number of open loop poles and m is the number of open loop zeros. So what is the value of k? K is starting from 0, 1, 2 up to n minus m minus 1. Okay, and we can find centroid. Asymptote will always passing through centroid. That is centroid sigma, that is equal to Summation of poles minus summation of zeros divided by number of poles minus number of zeros. Suppose our open loop transfer function g of s h of s, that is given by k divided by s plus a. Mark the location of poles and zeros on S plane. We have only one pole at s is equal to minus a and no zeros. So I am marking the pole at s is equal to minus a. So now we want to check the portion of real axis lying on root locus. Now I am taking a test point here. So towards the right of this point, no zeros or poles. So this portion is not lying on root locus. Now I am taking a point here and adding the total number of poles and zeros. We have only one pole at s is equal to minus a. That is an odd number. So this portion is lying on the root locus. Now, what is the angle of asymptote? Angle of asymptote theta k, that is equal to 180 divided by n minus 1. Here n is equal to 1 and number of zeros m is equal to 0. So 180 by 1 minus 0 multiplied by 2k plus 1. What's the value of k? K is equal to n minus m minus 1. That is equal to 1 minus 0 minus 1. That is equal to 0. So we have only one value for k, that is equal to 0. So k have only one value, k is equal to 0. So asymptotic angle theta 0, that is equal to 180 divided by 1 multiplied by 2 into 0 plus 1. That is equal to 180 degree. So 180 degree. So this is 180 degree. So angle of asymptote, that is 180 degree. This. So the root locus will start from an open loop pole at s is equal to minus a. So at that time the value of gain k is equal to 0 at this point when s is equal to minus a, and we increase the value of gain, then the root locus will move in this fashion along this negative real axis towards, and at k is equal to infinity this will reach at infinity, and we are assuming there is always a 0 at s is equal to minus infinity. So a root locus will start or originate from an open loop pole with k is equal to 0 and terminate at an open loop 0 with k is equal to infinity. Okay. Consider open loop transfer function g of s h of s is equal to k divided by s into s plus 1. Here also we have two poles, one pole at origin and other pole at s is equal to minus 1. Now I am marking the pole 0 configuration. Here a pole at s is equal to 0 and a pole at s is equal to minus 1. This is our real axis, this is our imaginary axis. This is origin 0. Now we want to find the root locus. Now I am taking a point here. So after from 0 to infinity there is no poles or 0. So this portion of real axis is not on the root locus. Now take a point here in between minus 1 and 0. Total number of poles and zeros, that is 1. So this portion is on root locus. Now take a point here. Total number of poles and zeros, that is 2 poles. That is an even number. So this portion of the real axis is not on root locus. Okay. Now we want to find the angle of asymptote. Angle of asymptote theta k, that is equal to 180 divided by n minus m multiplied by 2k plus 1. Here n is equal to 2 open loop zeros and m is equal to 0. So theta k, this is equal to 180 divided by 2 minus 0 multiplied by 2k plus 1. That is equal to 90 multiplied by 2k plus 1. What's the value of k? K is equal to 0, 1 up to n minus m minus 1. So the last value of k, that is 2 minus 0 minus 1, that is equal to 1. So we have two values for k, that is k is equal to 0 and k is equal to 1. When k is equal to 0, what's the value of theta? That is theta 0, that is equal to 90 into 1, that is equal to 90 degree. When k is equal to 1, theta 1, that is equal to 90 multiplied by 2 into 1 plus 1, that is equal to 270 degree. So the angle of asymptote is 90 and 270 degree. So we can construct the root locus. This portion of the real axis lying on the root locus. Since we know that root locus originate from an open loop pole with k is equal to 0. So one branch of the root locus that starts from here with k is equal to 0, and other branch start from here with k is equal to 0. The total number of branches for a root locus, that is equal to total number of open loop poles. So the root locus starts from here with k is equal to 0 and move towards this. Similarly, with k equal to 0, the second branch starts from here and this move towards this point. At a particular point, this point is called breakaway point. What happens? These two root locus will meet and that will move along the asymptotic line towards infinity. And we know that the angle of asymptote, this is 90 degree, and second angle is 270 degree. This is 270 degree. So this is the exact shape of root locus. And we can find this point. That is our centroid. So we have a 0 at infinity here. So this is terminate with k is equal to infinity at a 0 at infinity, and this also going to infinity, and there is a 0 at infinity, and the value of gain at this point, that is equal to infinity. Okay, so we have total number of branches for root locus, that is equal to total number of open loop poles. We have two open loop poles, so we have two branches. One branch is this starting from here, other branch starting here, and this will meet here, and this is a breakaway point, and one branch will move along this direction and other branch will move along this direction. Now consider an open loop transfer function having three simple poles. We can write g of s, h of s, that is equal to k divided by s plus a, s plus b, and s plus c. Okay. Now I am marking the location of poles. We have no zeros for this open loop transfer function. This is our real sigma j omega. Let this be the point minus a, minus b, and minus c. Okay, this is our origin. Now check this portion. This portion of the real axis is not lying on root locus, since if you are taking a test point here, no poles and zeros. So this portion is not on root locus. Now consider a point in between minus b and minus a. Number of poles and zeros after this point, test point, towards the right side of this test point is only one. So this portion is lying on the root locus. Now consider a point here. So 1 plus 1, we have two poles. This is an even number. So this portion is not lying on root locus. Now consider a point here. So we have total 3 poles. That is an odd number. So this portion is also lying on the root locus. Now what's the angle of asymptote? Angle of asymptote, theta, that is equal to 180 divided by n minus m. Here n is 3 minus 0 multiplied by 2k plus 1. That is equal to 60 degree. K is up to n minus m minus 1. That is equal to 3 minus 0 minus 1. That is equal to 2. So the value of k varies from k is equal to 0, 1 and 2. So substituting, we get the angle of asymptote, that is equal to 60 degree. Then when k is equal to 1, this becomes 180 degree. And when k is equal to 2, this becomes 300 degree. So these are the angles of asymptotes that will meet at the centroid. So one angle asymptote like this, making an angle of 60 degree. Other asymptote is like this, that is making an angle of 180 degree, and next asymptotic line is like this, that is making an angle of 300 degree. Our root locus, one branch of the root locus start from this pole with k is equal to 0 and moves towards infinity along this negative real axis, and we are assuming there is a 0 at infinity, and that will terminate at that 0 at infinity. And from here also, the value of gain k is equal to 0, At this point also gain k is equal to 0. And root locus start from this open loop poles. Since this portion of real axis is on root locus, so start from this point. One branch start from this point and other branches start from this point. And this will move like this. At here there is a breakaway point. This breakaway point, this will move along this asymptotic line towards infinity. So this is the shape of root locus. So some particular value of gain k, this will crosses the imaginary axis. Let the gain at this point, that is k1. So the gain at this point is k1. So what happens for the value of gain k is equal to k1, we have a pair of complex conjugate poles on imaginary axis. The system becomes marginally stable. Then again we increases the value of gain. What happens? The roots will crosses RHS of S-plane and the system become unstable. So the system becomes stable for the value of k, that gain lies between 0 less than k less than or equal to k1. If the gain is equal to k1, the system becomes marginally stable. That will result in sustained oscillation. So the response will oscillate like this with constant frequency. That frequency of oscillation can be obtained by making use of Routh-Hurwitz criterion. Then if gain k is greater than k1, the poles become, or closed loop poles lies on the RHS of the S-plane and the system become unstable. This is the approximate shape of root locus. Suppose we have three poles, a pair of complex conjugate poles and a real pole. Then what is the approximate shape of root locus? And we already find the angle of asymptote, that is 60, 180 degree and 300 degree. Take a test point here. So on this real axis, no poles. So this portion is not on the root locus. Now take a test point here. Towards the right side of this point, on real axis there is one pole, that is an odd number. So this portion is on the root locus. We have three open loop poles. So three branches for root locus. So the root locus starts from open loop pole with k is equal to 0. Here k equal to 0. Here also value of gain k is equal to 0. Here also the value of gain k is equal to 0. One branch will move along this real axis and other branch will move like this. This is making an angle of 60 degree and this is making an angle of 300 degree. So this is the shape of root locus. So for some particular values of k, the root locus will crosses the imaginary axis and the closed loop poles will reach RHS of the S-plane and system become unstable. And this is the value of gain k for sustained oscillation. Okay, this is our pole 0 configuration. We have only 4 poles, 2 simple poles and a pair of complex conjugate poles. Now we want to draw the shape of root locus. Now consider a point here. So in between these 2 poles, I am taking a test point. So total number of poles is odd. So this portion lies on the root locus. Now take a test point here. So we have 2 poles towards the right side of this point. So this portion is not lying on root locus. Now find the angle of asymptote. That is theta is equal to 180 divided by n minus m. Here n is equal to 4. 4 minus 0 multiplied by 2k plus 1. So that is equal to 45 degree multiplied by 2k plus 1. What's the value of k? K is equal to 0, 1, k is equal to 0, 1, 2 and 3. That is last value of k, that is n minus m minus 1. That is equal to 4 minus 0 minus 1. That is equal to 3. So we have 4 values for k. K is equal to 0, 1, 2 and 3. So what is the angle of asymptote? When k is equal to 0, the angle of asymptote theta is equal to 45 degree. When k is equal to 1, this becomes 135 degree. When k is equal to 2, this becomes 225 degree. And k equal to 3, this becomes 315 degree. Now, this is the angle of asymptotes. We have 4 open loop poles. So, 4 branch for root locus. So, root locus starts with k is equal to 0 from this pole. Also from this pole at k equal to 0. Here k is equal to 0. At this point, k is equal to 0. And this branch will move like this. And this will move and will meet at this point. Angle of asymptote, that is 45 degree, then 135 degree, 225 degree and 315 degree. One branch will move like this. This branch will move like this. Here this is a breakaway point. One branch will move along this line. Second will move along this line. This will move from along this line and this will move along this line. So this is the shape of root locus. Suppose we have four poles like this. This is a pair of complex conjugate pole and also another pair of complex conjugate poles. And there is no poles lying on the real axis. So no portion of the real axis lying on the root locus. So the shape of the root locus will look like this. This will move like this and this will move like this. For getting the exact shape, we have to determine the angle of departure. We have four poles and one pole is lying here. So one pole at origin, one pole is here and a pair of complex conjugate. And this is not symmetric. The first case we did four poles that are located symmetrically. Here this is not placed symmetrically. So this portion of the real axis is lying on the root locus. So one branch will start from here, other branch will start from here. This will move and meet at breakaway point and move along this direction, and this will move along this direction. For here we have to determine the angle of departure. This will move like this and this will move like this. Or here k equal to 0, k equal to 0, k equal to 0 and k equal to 0. Here we have 5 poles, 3 simple poles and a pair of complex conjugate poles. Now check which portion of real axis is on root locus. Here all, this portion is on root locus. If you take a test point here, so we have even number of poles. This portion is not on root locus. This portion is on root locus. So root locus start from open loop poles. So one branch will move towards infinity along the negative real axis. Here this portion is on root locus. So this will move and meet at some point and will move along this path. This will move like this. I have to determine the angle of departure. Suppose this is our pole 0 configuration. We have a pair of complex conjugate pole and a symbol 0. This portion is not lying on root locus. This portion of the real axis is lying on root locus since we have the odd number of zeros. So in general, this will trace a circle, but not a complete circle since this is a complex conjugate poles. So the root locus will start from here at k equal to 0 and k equal to 0. This will move along a circular path and reach here. This also move along a circular path and reach here. This is a breakaway point. One branch will move towards this 0 along this real axis and terminate at k is equal to infinity here, and another branch will move towards this. So this is the shape of root locus. Suppose this is our open loop transfer function. We have 1, 0 and 2 poles. These poles may be a simple poles or complex conjugate poles. Then the shape of the root locus is always a circle. For example, I am drawing the pole 0 configuration in S-plane. I have a 0 on real axis and this may be either a complex conjugate pair or a real pole. Let this is the location of poles. Okay. Now we want to construct the root locus. So number of open loop poles, that is equal to 2. So the root locus have 2 branches. So one branch start from this pole with k equal to 0. Other branch start from this pole with k equal to 0. Then this will move and this will also move and meet at this point. This will always trace a circle. This will move along a circular path and reach here. And this branch also will move along the circular path and reach at this point. So again this will meet here. This is again a breakaway point. One branch will move towards this 0 since this portion of the real axis is on root locus, and one branch will move along this. And here the value of k, that is equal to infinity. The root locus terminate on at a real 0 and this branch will terminate at infinity. That is terminating at an infinite zero. Suppose we have a pair of complex conjugate poles like this and a zero here. Then this portion of the real axis is not on the root locus, but this portion of the real axis is on the root locus. 1 0 and 2 poles. So this always traces a circular path. So at k equal to 0, one branch starts from at this pole and other branch start at this pole. This will be a circular quotient. This also will be a circular quotient and meet at this point. This is a breakaway point. One branch will move along this direction and terminate at this 0 with k equal to infinity, and other branch will move along this negative real axis towards infinity. It will terminate at a 0 at infinity. In this pole 0 configuration, we have two simple poles and two simple zeros. This portion is on root locus. This portion is not on root locus. This portion is on root locus, and this portion is not on root locus. This will also trace as a circle. So with k equal to 0, the root locus, one branch start from here, other branch start from here. We have two branches since number of open loop poles is equal to 2. So this will move in this direction, this will move in this direction. At this breakaway point, this will trace a circle, that is root locus will move along this circle. Here this will move along this circle. And again here it is a breakaway point. Here this move along this branch, this will move around this branch. And this branch will terminate at this 0 with k is equal to infinity. And this will terminate at this 0 at k is equal to infinity. In this manner, we can find the approximate shape of root locus. So the thing we have to recreate is how to find the angle of asymptote. And we want to know to determine the location of real axis on root locus. Now based on this, we can do any type of problem without following all the procedures. In the next session, we will discuss some more gate related problems from root locus. Okay, thank you. Bye.